Just wanted to briefly go over the adjustments to gross income. Now that we arrived at income, there are certain adjustments that the government will let us take against our income to arrive at something called AGI. You'll hear AGI referred to throughout this course. It's a very important concept. Adjusted gross income is what we're talking about right here. And that'll basically control a lot of the phase outs for credits, deductions, itemized deductions, and push you through different categories. When it comes to adjustments, the government is fairly stingy about those. What you'll see a lot of is the educator expense. That's basically $250 that they allow for K through 12 instructors for out-of-pocket expenses that they pay for and then use in their classroom. Another one you'll see a lot of is the tuition and fees deduction or the student loan deduction. That's a very common deductions that you'll use in this course. Those deductions, you'll see that when it comes to them, the government's pretty stingy about letting you subtract things from income because other than the educator, everything else is coming from a separate form. As you can see at line 24, that's a flow through from this form. Health savings account, that's a form. Moving expense, you're attaching a subform. Self-employment tax, that's a subschedule. The self-employed simple and IRA deductions or the health insurance deductions, those you'll actually just have to have documentation for. But early penalty on a savings, that's going to be reported to you on a 1099 INT. Alimony for a Social Security recipient, that's something that you might pay your ex-spouse. That would actually be a number that you would generate, and you would put their Social Security number in, but they would be picking it up as income. You can barely see it, but it's line 11 up here. This way they could trace the payment that you're deducting over here to the tax return that's supposed to be reported on. But the IRA deduction, that's something that you're going to claim, but it will be reported to the IRS on a 5498 by whoever the fiduciary is, whether that's Dean Rauscher or Fidelity, American Express, something like that. Student loan interest, you'll get a statement from the bank. Tuition and fees deduction, once again, that's flowing from another subschedule. We won't be dealing too much with the domestic production credit. That's basically dealing with manufacturing credit that came about way back, say, in 2003, 2004. We do not go into that much in detail in this course because this is basically personal income tax. And so this is just a general overview of the adjustments to your income. As you can see, the IRS is pretty stingy about what they're going to give you, and it's nothing that you can just pull right out of the air. A lot of it is coming from all of these subschedules or forms that were actually filed directly with the IRS.